Hello, superheroes. Welcome to Snowflake Summit. Hey, hey, some are clapping, some are waking up. The keynote was exciting. I'm excited to be here. I'm here with the SQL PM, Qinyi Ding, and let's get
Hello, everyone.
started. How's your microphone working?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Cool.
Can everyone hear Qinyi?
Hello, everyone.
Can everyone hear me? Excellent. We're excited. We have slides. Let's see. Yes, this is Qinyi Ding, product manager for SQL. The keynote was super exciting. Now we are going back to basics. What's happening with SQL inside Snowflake? I love it. I'm Felipe Hoffa, developer advocate for Snowflake. Some of you already know me, and if not, get ready to get to know me. A picture of both of us. And this is our agenda for this session. I don't have a timer there, so I will keep a timer here.
Cool.
SQL keeps improving. SQL is it's a language that's been with us for more than 30 years. It's the basic of how Snowflake is built. But we keep having advancements. We keep moving forward. Today we're going to talk about a couple, three that we have already announced. If you don't know them, this is a chance to know these advancements. But still, we're super excited about them. There's one that we are going to announce right now. It's live. If you can guess what it is, keep it quiet. We're going to show you. And then Qinyi will also talk about us, what's coming next. Qinyi is the perfect person to know to talk about what kind of SQL improvements you want in Snowflake. What do you think of what we are getting right now?
Yeah.
And you can catch us here. You can catch us later. We will be talking here for a while.
We're all ears.
Yes. So speaking of requests, when you have any request, things that you want Snowflake to support, go to our ideas portal. There's where select star except was one of the top requested features, and we delivered. Now, instead of calling it except in Snowflake, we called it exclude. And exclude and rename allows us to take a select star when we're talking about all the columns and be able to not select a couple of them or rename a couple of them, but still be able to say select star. When I announced this on LinkedIn, well, first Qinyi announced it because you wrote this blog post. I saw the blog post from Qinyi. I made a little screenshot, and that thing exploded. 2,000 likes, 100 comments, 80 reposts, and this is my way of telling you. First, you go to ideas, and once we implement them, we go to social media, and if you like it, give us your likes, give us your reposts, because that's how Qinyi and I show to the rest of Snowflake that people really, really, really want these advancements. Here's a little example. I have 4 columns, and I'm able to remove column 2 and column 3 and rename the first column, but while still saying select star. In this example, you are not doing much, but just think about when you have 100 columns, 1,000 columns, just being able to remove one or to rename one can do a lot. Also, a little demo by screenshot. Here, I have another table. I want to remove the column first name. I want to rename a couple columns. This is how I do it. Select star, exclude the first name, rename. Let's rename department ID to department, and let's rename employee ID to ID. Boom. We got what we wanted with select star. This is also new, and I'm going to let Qinyi talk about it. Min by and max by.
Thanks, Felipe. Thank you. And we recently introduced 2 new functions called min by and max by. I mean, everybody knows min and max. You use it to find the minimum and maximum value of a column. But sometimes, for some use cases, you don't really care the value of that column, but really you want a column that's associated with that value. So in Felipe's example, is you try to find the windiest city in the United States. You don't care about the wind speed pretty much, but you want the city name. And another general example is when you have time series analysis. say you have an IoT device, you want to get latest status, you usually like max the timestamp, but it's not the timestamp that matters, it's the status. So typically, if you want to do something like this, it often involves a self-join. Sometimes it's necessary. So with min by max by functions, you're able to do this in one function call. So what min by max by is doing is to give you another column associated with the minimum and maximum value of another column. So quick demo, slide demo here. Say I have a table of employees, and I have employees and departments and salary. If I want to find the employees with minimum and maximum salaries, I can easily have a function call with min and max, and that's give you the employee ID instead of the salary. So, and both functions takes an optional third argument, which is the number of columns you want to treat back. So you can basically say the top 3 employees based on their salaries ordered. One caveat to call out is both functions are non-deterministic, meaning if you have a tie, then we will randomly pick one value for you. Cool.
Cool.
Hope everyone enjoys it. And the next thing we're going to introduce is what we call bankers rounding. Rounding can be tricky in some situations. And believe it or not, there are more than 10 rounding modes available. Our traditional rounding modes, if you think about it, there's a slight problem because if the rounding digits is 1, 2, 3, 4, you round down. And if the digits is 5 to 9, you round up. So technically, you have more digits that are rounding up than rounding down. So if a number is evenly distributed in terms of decimal values, your aggregate number, if everything is rounded, kind of skews a little bit to a higher number than the actual true value if it's being aggregated before rounding. So what bankers rounding does is if the least significant digit is exactly 5, then it always rounds to the even number. So that it basically breaks the 5 into 50-50 chance, and half of them round to even number and round it up, half of them doesn't do anything. So that gives you a mathematically unbiased way of rounding. So the rounding mode is, you can see the third argument here. You can call it half to even, and then you can use that for the rounding if you want unbiased rounding. So this is particularly helpful when you process financial and statistical data, and it helps migrations if your legacy system uses this type of rounding. So I think the demo speaks for itself. 2.5 used to round to 3, but with bankers rounding, it's round to 2 because it's halfway to even, and 2 is an even number, so it doesn't do anything. But if it's 3.5, then it will round it to 4. Again, an even number.
Nice.
Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to hand it over to Felipe.
Yes, so, yes.
Thank you.
People love bankers rounding. That's awesome. OK, now, who has seen this error in Snowflake? It's very common. It's a hint of what we have to announce. I copy-pasted this from Stack Overflow just to show that it has 50,000 views. People get this error on Snowflake, and they wonder what's the problem. You know that you are not grouping by the correct elements. So what we are announcing today is group by all. Yes, I'm excited about it. It's live. You can go and test it right now. You can find it on the docs. And it's all about, instead of making you group by the things that you need to remember to group by, sometimes we just write group by 1, group by 2, group by 3, group by 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever. You can just say to Snowflake, group by all. Snowflake, you figure out what you have to group by. Just look at the things that are not aggregated. Those are the things Snowflake figures out and it groups by. This is really cool. For example, if we are writing SQL and we are adding more or less columns, just trying stuff, just say group by all. Everything keeps working as Snowflake catches up. We don't have the demo, but you have a couple caveats you wanted to show us.
Indeed. So I think one of the great benefits of group by all is it decouples the select from the group by clause. so that you don't need to worry about group by clause at all. Like you can feel free to add any number of select expressions, and it'll still keep working. Some of the caveats I want to call out is group by all takes the whole expressions. So if you have a column, say, a plus b, the a plus b entire expression will be used as part of a group by instead of a or b. So we're not going to group by a comma b. It's going to be a plus b. And another caveat is, when you work with window functions, group by all only takes care of aggregate columns. If a window function doesn't have any aggregate components in it, then we will treat it as a non-aggregate column. It will show up as we expand the group by all, but eventually it will fail because window function is not a valid group by expression. However, if you have a window function that does take aggregate inside it, then it will be treated as an aggregate column, and then it will not show up in the group by, if that makes sense. The last thing I want to say is if you have all the queries, if you have select statements, that's everything is aggregated. Technically, you shouldn't have a group by clause at all. But if you do, it will be treated as group by clause doesn't exist. And group by all doesn't work in conjunction with any individual column calls.
Yes, but test it out.
Test it out, yeah.
We're waiting for your feedback.
Yeah, for more details, you can check out documentation, which is published this morning.
Yes. What's new?
Yeah, indeed. So we definitely want to hear your feedback, and we listen to what your ideas is on our community idea site. And we definitely are committed to provide more array manipulation functionalities. We're working on more functions, array manipulation functions. But for the time being, what's going to be available soon are the 4 functions that's showing up on the screen. But there'll be more functions that we'll be delivering in the future. So array sort, array min and max basically gives you a way to kind of sorting your array elements, and you can produce that elements from any arrays that you have. Array generate range gives you an easy way to define an array based on range and steps instead of having to call out individual items one by one. And that's not it. I mean, there are more SQL improvements, but because of the time constraint, I cannot put more stuff in it. But if you have more ideas, like Felipe's LinkedIn, showing your love of these features, and submit your ideas in our community site, or upvote the ideas you want us to prioritize, and we definitely want to hear your voice and prioritize or coordinate.
Yep, we love giving you these features. I love these features. I keep requesting them. So getting your feedback helps me go to Qinyi and tell him, I really want this. I'm glad to have a PM dedicated to hearing this request, to driving the engineering team, to drive these improvements. We only showed a fraction of what we can do with Snowflake, with SQL in Snowflake. You know that we have new geometry types. We keep improving the performance optimizations. But I love getting new syntax that makes our analysis way, way more powerful. So thank you, Qinyi.
Thank you, Felipe.
And thank you, everyone, for coming here.
Thank you.